Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I am Morris Merriweather, the author of Enough is Enough. Public education has spiraled out of control. I'm also the host of Straight Talk in room 503, a former administrator in the Madison County school system in my hometown of Jackson, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you at the last telecast, that on this coming weekend, should be released by Thursday evening, no later than Friday morning, that the class of 503 will be held in my absence. I am traveling out of the state and will be visiting several states up north. Ladies and gentlemen, the title of this one in my absence, as I not come to you in Jackson, Tennessee, but I had to stop from packing my bags and getting ready to leave because something occurred this week that you in my hometown and abroad should know. If they will do it, and they will, to me, a little old wretched guy like me, they will do the same thing to you. So I'm titling this class, get your notes and get your pencils and pens out, or your iPads and what have you now, and write this down. The topic this week is "This is no time to lose your head." Again, this is no time to lose your head. Now, I had to say that to me because of what occurred to me a couple of days ago, and I will get into that. But let me set this thing up, and then let me get hold of my bags and head toward the airport. Listen, in my absence, 2 years ago, my wife at that time, while I was out of town as I am this time, promoting my book and doing speaking engagements, she agreed to fill in for me. She said the class needs to go on. Even if you're not here, the words got to go out. This is too important, and I agreed with her. So Dabney, that did an excellent job. This week, as I was planning on leaving and saying, well, we won't have class this week because I'm out of town, I remember what you're saying is too important. And I went back through my archives and found the video that she did in my absence, that she done in my absence. And when I listened to it, it's about 6 minutes long. She was talking about things that would happen 2 years ago that are still happening today. And I said, oh, we got to run that one. So I asked my ex-wife, would it be okay if the people hear from you one more time in my absence? She agreed, and I want to thank her publicly. And I told her then, I thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this one as part one. And I'll be as brief as I can because I need to get out of here. The clocks on the wall said I got to go and meet a flight. But I just had to. I wasn't going to do this, but it was so on my mind when I left the Lord house. This telecast is being done on Sunday. I was led, you got to tell the people. You can't keep it quiet. The community got to know what's happening and what will be happening. So I placed my bags on the floor, came back in and grabbed the camera and said, class in session. So I will do part one and she will come back with part six. Part 6 is about 6 minutes. So please, ladies and gentlemen, it's important. If I can delay myself to bring it to you in class, you ought to delay yourself and listen to it. And then if you can't, that's your business, and I don't hold that against you. Life is too short. I have to keep telling myself what I'm telling you now. This is not the time to lose your head. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I received a call this week from one of the ministers at one of the mega churches in this city of Jackson, my hometown, who I thought was a friend of mine. In fact, this particular friend called me and asked me if I would consider running for school board. And I said, I'm not in the district. And he said, I think you are. Why don't you check in the morning and see? So being that I'm a servant of the people and on a mission, I checked it out the next morning and I was within 200 yards of being out of the district. And I went in my closet and I talked to Master Jesus. And I said, you know, regardless of who bought the idea, because you use man, women, animals, everything to do your will, everything. He said, every knee must bow and every tongue must confess. So God used whatever he wants to use because it all belongs to him. And so I said, Lord, if it's your will, I'll do it. And when I got finished praying, it was God's will that I run for school board, District 6, Position 2. And so the qualifying deadline, I believe, is February or April. I will find that out this month. So I decided to qualify and run. The moment I made that decision, I was told by a phone call, you know, they'll call you now, and said that they, being the powers to be, have someone that they want to run that will be a part of the status quo. And you don't seem to fit. You know, for years I told a couple of my so-called friends, I said, I'm a misfit. The wife said to me, don't say that. They'll think you're crazy. What the hell do I think about what man think? I think about what my Lord and Savior Jesus think about me. But it stuck on my mind. I'm just a misfit. I'm just a misfit. And I couldn't shake it. So I told my stepdaughter, your mama don't want me to say this, but I'm a misfit. She said, Mama, if stepdad's a misfit, I'm a misfit. Oh, she didn't like it. Oh, she got hot. But that night, I went back to God and I said, Lord, I just seem to not fit in with the status quo. They headed in the wrong direction, want to hurt our children, hold back our children. I don't want to go in that direction. I'm a misfit. So I was laying on the sofa. And God said, I want you to go to Reverend T.D. Jake. I got something to tell you. I said, well, you know, I want to get a nap in, Lord. I said, go to T.D. Jake, Bishop T.D. Jake. The moment I turned him on, the sermon was, I'm a misfit. I jumped up on the sofa and said, Lord, it has to be you. You're talking to me. He said, listen, this is what the bishop said. He said that followers fits. They just follow the leader. But leaders, true leaders, are born. And that if they try to fit me in a square, I don't fit. The corner stop me. If they try to fit me in a circle, my corner stop. They try to fit me in a square or a triangle, I just don't fit. I'm a misfit. But this is what I heard that gave me corroboration and affirmation and confirmation. He said that if you fit in where everybody else fit in, then you're not a leader. I need people that thinks outside the box and that's outside the box. I have followers and I have leaders, and I have chosen you. And at that moment, I just raised my hand. So I looked back and I told a associate of mine this week, now I see what God was doing, how he brought me up through schools that was segregated and then allowed me to be among the first 12 that went to integrated schools carried me through the nigger, the stealing of my books and everything, because they was passing down, hand me down. He said, you can't be a leader and you sucking. You have got to get the first edition. So, ladies and gentlemen, I went to Jackson High School and graduated, and not at the bottom of my class, because I needed to have firsthand information, because I had wonderful black teachers before I left. So I wasn't going because they had white teachers. I was going because I wanted to be with the same resource and be up to date. And then I won't go into it today because I got to get out of here. But I look back at all of the things that I went through in the 7 years of Phantom and the 7 years to get the book written that God wrote, the book that God wanted me to get to the public. And then all of the things and trials and errors that I had in juvenile court and in the school system, and when I created the truancy board, and then the enemies I got along the way. All of this was because God was saying, don't lose your head. Without your head, I can't do nothing with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, the title again is, This is No Time to Lose Your Head. But I received a phone call from a gentleman that said, why are you leaning so much on the school system? I said, I can't talk about what's going on in your hometown if I can't talk about what's going on in my hometown. Well, you need to back up, cool off. I said, well, now that's kind of strange. At the school board meeting this past Thursday, one of the school representatives told me, you know, they was talking about you in Baxter this week. Said you all troublemakers. Ladies and gentlemen, if a troublemaker is trying to stand up for people without voices and trying to make sure that all children get a quality education, then I'm a troublemaker. But if I'm out there just raising hell to be raising hell, that's a different thing, and that's a lie. So I won't even claim it. You can put it on my shoulder, but I'm not going to let it stick. I'm not going to lose my head. This ain't the time to lose my head. But this white gentleman said this to me, a minister, mega church man, used to be my supervisor, who personally know me. Now, here's where I'm confused. If you was one of the people that helped to train me and was there when I got hired under Judge Harris, and yet all of a sudden I'm a bad man, I know I'm a misfit, but that don't make me bad, and said you need to back off of the superintendent. Why are you doing this? I said, you're trying to say that I'm doing it because he's black? I don't care about the color of your skin, because my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ don't. He made all of us. We're all precious. I said, the record will reflect the previous superintendent before the previous superintendent. And this superintendent, when I disagreed and felt like they was going the wrong direction, I spoke out. One of the only blacks in Jackson that really spoke out. I remember being at one of the high schools when Dr. Ruffin was here. Stood up at one of the first people, because everybody else was just sitting there. She said, no question. I'll go Dr. Ruffin. Dr. Baxter, you're on my mind. So I went on and spoke. But he said, well, you know, I was going to give you a contribution. And he stopped. But I wasn't dumb enough to not catch it. That means I'm not getting it now because you won't do what I say. So I said, wait a minute. Said to myself, oh, hell. I thought he wanted me to serve because he knew I would serve all of the people. Oh, I got it. They was planning on using me like they're using some of the other people here in Jackson. Oh, hell no. Meriwether not a user. Can't use me. Only one gonna use me is my master. So he said then, if you don't back off of the superintendent and stop talking about what's going on and hiring all of the whites in the central office and replacing all of the black principals and coaches and staff with whites, then we're going to come against you. Well, now, in order for him to have that kind of conversation, ladies and gentlemen, common sense tell me they done met about when Meriwether put it out there, even for qualifying, he was going to run. They started mounting their efforts against me. But this the cookie that got me. This cookie crumb, and I couldn't get it all up. He said, look, they done counted up how many teachers in my district. I don't even know that. He says there are 300 black teachers in your district. And we're going to turn all of them against you. I'll reach back in the bag and remember my topic. This is no time to lose your head, Meriwether. This is the time to lock it on, lock it down. So I was shocked. I said, what? Coming out of the mouth of a minister, a leader in the community, member of a mega church? You're going to bring... Now listen, this is if God people, and I don't believe all of that I hear about God's people, but if the minister and the man of God is going to turn people against me, and all I'm doing is trying to make sure that the poor whites and the poor blacks and the Mexicans and the Hispanics get a fair shake, and you're going to turn the people against me. So I said to him, well, I don't have a police record. I don't do drugs. I'm not a drug pusher. I'm not a gangbanger. I'm not in any gang. I married the woman that had my child. I don't have any other babies in town. I'm not an abuser. I'm not sexually harassing anybody. What the hell are you going to bring against me? We'll bring things against you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was blown away. So I said, well, let me say this. This what's in my mind now. I'm not losing my head. God immediately put into my brain, into my heart, into my soul, no weapons formed against you shall prosper. And I told him, man, how you going to do that and no weapon? You mean God lied? You don't believe that? No weapon for... Y'all can't bring people against me and be victorious. I'm no longer a victim. I'm a victor. I'm not the same donkey that rode in town. I'm a different one. You don't know me. You don't know my story, so don't start doing all this to me. Say, well, we're going to do it. We're going to bring people against you and turn your black community against you. Well, now, hell, let me tell you something. No white students, Mexican, Puerto Rican, y'all sit down back there. My black students, stand up. If you will allow the white community to come against a brother who's been here all his life, done some things, I haven't been a saint, but hurt nobody, and you're going to allow them to come after me, and I'm standing up writing books, trying to expose you to the truth, going to all of the board meetings, you wasn't there, going to all of the retreats, and you wasn't there, going to all the call meetings, and you wasn't there, going to the city council meeting, county commission meeting, in every kind of meeting that I could go to and gain knowledge for you. And you're going to lose your head. And when they try to make me lose my head, you're not going to say nothing. And I'm standing up. 300 black teachers in my district. And Verna Ruffin hired nothing but 90%, hired 115 teachers, 10 blacks, 105 whites, 3 males. The district superintendent hired 138. We didn't even get 30. And you're going to let the good old boys and the so-called leaders come after me. And you said nothing. But yet you're going to call yourself a Christian. I just left church. Hi, Brother Meriwether. How you doing? God bless you. When you going to bless me? When you going to stand with me? Together we stand, divided we what? Fall. Don't lose your head. Let me finish. I got to head to the airport. Let me read this little note I wrote down just a few minutes ago. This is no time to lose your head. And so I told him, I'm running. I'm not getting out. I'm a victor. And I'm going to win, and I'm going to sit on the board. I'm not a troublemaker. If you want to do what's right, count me in. Do what's wrong, count me out. It's just that simple. So I haven't lost my head. You think about it if you're losing your head. I dare you sit there in the comfort of your home. And you all know me. Has helped thousands of kids. Started the first truancy board, ran it effectively until I retired in 2007. Started the first truancy board, ran it successfully. Started the first, night school. Devil don't want me to get the truth out. Hold on. And you won't stand with me and I stand for your children help your children, was in juvenile court, and when your children and was doing wrong, I was speaking to the judge, was in the companionship program, worked with Department of Children's Services, and you won't open your mouth for me? Oh, hell, what's wrong with you? Have you lost your head? If you lost your head, you lost your mind. Let me tell you this, and I got to go. If they control your head, they own your whole body. They won't own this. This is a free black man. To keep our children from getting ahead, they made sure that nothing was put in their head. That's the reading problem that we have. That's why they're not reading on grade level. They're hiring all these teachers, and they can't put that mess on black teachers. That's a lie. Because there's more white teachers than blacks. But let me pull this, and I wasn't planning on using this one right now. Listen to this. I just wrote this just a few minutes ago. This came into my spirit. You can't teach what you don't care for. And you can't help those that you won't reach out for. That's pretty good coming from a misfit. Man, that they want him to lose his head. But let's watch it again. I haven't lost my head. I locked it down. You can't teach what you don't care for. A student know when you don't care for them. And you can't help those who you don't reach out for. Listen, a robber won't rob an empty house. Listen, I'm winding up, getting ready to get out of here. A robber won't rob an empty house. Nothing there. The enemy fears a full house. If I can get people to start supporting me and get on the school board, he may stop us. He already all in them schools. We just left 3 schools last week, Reverend Baxter and I, seeing what's going on. And when we got to one of the schools, the girl jumped up and ran and got the principal. No, she said, they here. They finally got here. They looking for us. You sitting at home and the teacher's crying out, Mr. Merriweather, can I tell you something? This ain't right. They're teaching our children and your children, your nieces and nephews, and you sitting at home quiet. Hey, ma'am. Hey, Mr. So-and-so. Hi, Dr. So-and-so. And they're hating on your children at school. Now, not all of them. A lot of them are doing a good job, but hell, all of them not. And I know them, and they know I know them. They know I know the players. They know I know the school and how much money they're spending. People talking to me. That's why they want me to keep. Reverend had to call the school to see if we couldn't go. Hell, my tax dollars paying for those schools. Why we got to get permission to go see a school? We ain't bothering the students. Do they been there lock me up? They're trying to find some charges on me now. But I hadn't lost my head yet. And not gonna lose it. They're trying to keep our children's head empty. Watch this. We came into this world head first. There had to have been a reason for that. God don't want you to lose your head. So he sent it out first. Now they're trying to make our children the tail. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to part 2 and let my ex wrap it up for me while I visit. Again, last night, if you remember on video on one of the last shows, I told you a lady all the way in Finland texted me and wanted to know if I'm interested in coming to Finland and being an educational consultant in my hometown. They said, I done lost my head. I'm crazy. I'm a troublemaker. I don't believe any one of that. You think what you want to think. Thank God I just left church because I was about to use that word, but I caught myself. And so I had already told her, no, I was not interested in what have you. That I was tired. I was doing some things in my hometown and traveling, promoting my book and what have you. Last night, as I was packing, I went and said, what? Who's that texting me? She texted me again from Finland. Mr. Merriweather, we would love for you to come and look at our school system and talk to us. She looked at my profile and what I've said about public education, and she's looking at the show. Now, my people of color, a lot of them don't listen to the show. But the white folks, they listen because they won't know what the hell Merriweather talking about and how can we go after him. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me end the show and tell you this, and I got to go. I'm not going to lose my head for them, you, and no one else. So I got to thinking as I was in church this morning, they got to singing that song, and boy, I felt, Lord, that's that. I got to join in it. And it went something like this. Jesus, I love you, because you care. I can't imagine, Lord, I can't imagine if you wasn't there when that guy came